Have you ever looked back on your life and wondered how you ended up the way you did? Have you ever regretted doing something small and seemingly insignificant because of what followed it? For me, that something was buying a quadcopter drone about a year ago. I'd just turned 25. I was living in Vegas and working as a CrossFit trainer. Life seemed great. I partied, I dated, I went hiking. I did whatever I loved doing. I was on top of the world without fully realizing it or appreciating how lucky I was. That's when I decided to get myself a quadcopter drone. In all honesty, I know this purchase was just a whim. I didn't have any good rhyme or reason to buy one. I wasn't into videography, and I wasn't some techie always on the hunt for the latest and greatest gadget. I was just walking around the mall with my buddy, saw this trendy toy in a store window, and decided to buy it right on the spot. It was a lot of fun at first. I tried it out with my friends, and we actually shot a lot of good footage of natural landscapes and the city line. But soon enough, I got bored with it. The videos were just piling up on my computer and taking up space, while I had no idea or desire to do anything with them. Not long after that, my friend and I made plans to go hiking on the Bristlecone Trail. As fate would have it, he bailed on me at the last minute the day of our big hike. I was pretty mad, but I decided to go hiking anyway. After all, I'd never been on that trail before, and I could really use some me time, spent enjoying the beauty of nature. As I was leaving, I noticed my drone lying on a shelf. I thought for a second and decided to take it with me to shoot videos of scenic views and rub it in my friend's face for flaking on me. I thought I might even edit this one and make a compilation of the most beautiful shots, maybe even add some voiceover. So, I went all by myself. It was kinda nice. The nature, the hike, the music in my headphones. When I reached the end of my route, I sat down on a big rock and took the drone out of my backpack. Even though at this point I wasn't sure if I should create a video to make my friend jealous, I still wanted to capture the insane beauty around me on film. I let the drone fly up and started filming. The drone's control box was connected to my smartphone so I could see everything I was shooting. I began with a couple of extreme long shots to show the whole landscape. Then I started getting closer to different objects, the top of the mountain, the small mountain stream. At this point, I noticed something glittering in the distance. I thought it might be a forest lake that I didn't know about, so I sent my drone to investigate. But as it was getting closer, I slowly started to notice that it wasn't a lake at all. It seemed more like a big shiny piece of metal, and I could see some people around the metal object. Intrigued as ever, I set my drone down to take a closer look. The closer I got, the more I realized that something weird was going on there. On the small screen of my phone, I could see about a dozen people dressed in what looked like military-style uniforms. They were standing around that big metal thing lying on the ground. Some of them were poking it with some sort of super advanced tools, as if trying to open it up. I was shaking from excitement, craving to see what happens next. I sent the drone a little bit closer once again, and that was the moment when one of the men turned his head and looked straight at me. He was wearing a different cap than the rest of them and was standing off at a distance, so I naturally assumed he was the boss of whoever these people were. When he looked at me, I felt danger. His strict, firm stare instantly made it clear to me that I wasn't supposed to see any of this. Before I could think of anything, he opened his mouth and said something that I now understand was an order. Several other men looked at the drone and whipped out actual guns. They pointed them straight at my poor drone. I frantically started maneuvering the control panel to send the drone back to safety. I could hear gunshots in the distance, but no bullet actually hit the drone as it was on its way back to me. I knew that it was just a matter of time until they'd come for me, so I rushed back to my car. I ran for my life and took the shortest way. It was terrifying. I couldn't tell for sure if I was actually being followed, but I had a feeling that I was. The look on that man's face was haunting me. It was a look that told me louder than any words, "You need to be destroyed." I got into my car, and without even taking a moment to catch my breath, I peeled out of there. I needed to escape, to go as far away from that place as I could. I went straight home. Once there, I finally got a chance to stop moving and think about what had happened. What was going on back there? Who were those people? They seemed like military, but I could swear I'd never seen uniforms like those before. Could they be some hostile foreign forces? Should I report what I saw? Or could it be some secret operation of our government that I shouldn't have seen? What if they kill me for that? I took the card from my drone and uploaded the video onto my computer. I watched it again and again, trying to make sense of what I'd witnessed. But I couldn't. It was getting dark and I still had no idea what I was looking at. I figured I'd sleep on it and try again tomorrow. When I woke up the next morning, I found a piece of paper lying on the floor. Someone must have slid it under the front door. I was too sleepy to even remember what had gone down the day before, let alone to connect the dots. So I casually picked the piece of paper up and read what was on it. It immediately snapped me back into reality. It said, "Bring the SD card to..." There was an address that I won't share with you. "At 1 p.m. sharp. Leave it in the garbage can. Do not upload the video anywhere else. Do not talk to anyone. Follow these instructions precisely and you will not be harmed." I could barely breathe. My heart was jumping out of my chest. I broke out in a cold sweat. The letter fell out of my shaking hands. How did I get myself into this mess? And how do I fix it now? Should I follow their demands? But wouldn't it be like playing along with terrorists? What if it was my duty as a good citizen to do something about this? If you see something, say something, right? After thorough consideration, I decided to trick them. I downloaded the footage onto a flash drive and hung it around my neck. I then got dressed, grabbed the SD card, and went to the location given in the letter. Even though it was a very public place, I was still really scared. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being followed and might get shot or something at any moment. I did exactly what the letter told me. I left the card in a trash can. As I was leaving, I carefully looked around to catch someone going for the card, but I didn't see anything. There weren't any suspicious-looking people. Nobody seemed to be paying any attention to me or the garbage can. I headed home, trying to think of my next move. I got there only to find my front door flung open and the place completely trashed. My computer was destroyed. The hard drive was viciously ripped out the tower. Everything was turned upside down, and in the middle of this giant mess was my neighbor's cat lying dead on the floor. I can't possibly describe the horror and numbness I felt. Whoever did this, they didn't even try to be subtle about it. This was about as open and in your face as a threat could be. That could only mean one thing. They knew that even if I went to the authorities, they'd be covered. As if to stomp out any doubt that these people were untouchable, I saw a note and an envelope pinned to the wall with my kitchen knife. Overwhelmed and shaken, I approached it to read the note. "We know you copied the video. Leave your flash drive in the same place at 5 p.m. I took the knife out of the wall and opened the envelope. The blood froze in my veins when I saw that the envelope was filled with pictures of my mom, leaving her house, chatting with the neighbors, getting into her car. I gasped for air. They were going after my mom. Tears of fear and powerlessness flooded my eyes. When the time came, I drove back and threw the flash drive in the same trash can. I didn't try to trick them. I didn't attempt to watch who'd go to collect the USB. It was way too dangerous, and it wasn't just about me anymore. I got home and started cleaning up the mess. It took me a few days to fix everything, but before I could feel safe in my home again, one more letter showed up under my door. "You're not off the hook yet. You saw too much. This is the last warning. One wrong move, and you're dead." Ever since then, there hasn't been a day go by when I don't have crippling anxiety. I barely sleep, I don't talk to people, I don't leave the house, not even to my own backyard. I went from the most outgoing, life-loving guy to a paranoid hermit. My mom died about a week ago. I didn't go to the funeral. I couldn't overcome the paralyzing fear of being out where I could be seen and followed. As I'm putting this story on the internet, I'm using all the proxy servers I possibly could just to avoid being tracked. But even if they do track me down and kill me for sharing this story, at this point, I'm not even sure I'd care. I'm tired of being scared. I'm exhausted from my own paranoid thoughts, and I can't keep leading this pathetic existence. They can't take away my life, because they already did 1 year ago.